Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So earlier today, I posted a video and someone left a comment that really inspired me to do this video right now. They basically asked if I would share my views about some statements that Chilli from TLC made about interracial relationships. For those of you who haven't seen my prior video, I'll post a link in the cards and in the description box. That video dealt with interracial relationships. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Chilli's statement and then provide my brief commentary about what she had to say. She said, I want for women, especially for women of color, to not be so closed-minded when it comes to love. God made all of us, and you may not find your husband because you're trying to stick to one group. You've got to be open. You want the person who's the best person for you, no matter what color he is. First of all, I'll say this. I don't think black love is being closed-minded. I prefer that black men be with black women and that black women be with black men. I think it's a matter of pride. I think it's a matter of black dignity and black self-respect. And I think that it should come naturally, that we should embrace our own and be with our own. We should naturally be attracted to our own women and vice versa. So I'll say that off the top. That is crucial, and I don't think that self-respect, I don't think that black pride is being closed-minded. And I think that too often what happens is we are closed-minded when it comes to ourselves, but we're open-minded when it comes to others. So that's the first point that I want to make. The second point is this, I don't hate on somebody like a Chilli. I have more respect for her position than I do for the position of others. This isn't a situation where you have a sister bashing black men. This is a woman who's dated black men. She's not saying that black men are dogs or black men are no good and that the white man is all this and all that. So I appreciate that, and I make a distinction between her and some of these buffoonish black women that you see on YouTube, dedicating whole channels to idolizing white men and bashing black men. So I put her in a different category, and I don't see her as a quote unquote bed wench or anything like that. I wouldn't use that kind of terminology to refer to Chilli simply for saying that she's opening her options. I have more respect for somebody that's opening their options than I do for someone who, in fact, is closing their options by closing the door when it comes to black men, by saying that they're not dating black men anymore, and using all kinds of derogatory terms to refer to black men. So I don't have any problem with somebody, basically opening their options. Again, I prefer that black people be with one another. I prefer black love. And I think that that's the direction that we should go in as a people. But I'm not going to hate on her for, quote unquote, opening her options. I distinguish between that and somebody that is a self-hating buffoon, like some of these women here on YouTube who worship this white man. So I make a distinction between that. So that's one thing that I have to say. Now, also, I'll just say this, man. When it comes to these interracial relationships and all that kind of stuff, again, obviously, I prefer black love. I think that black people need to be with one another. But I have more sympathy towards black women who end up in those kind of relationships than I do for black men. And I'm going to explain to you why I have more sympathy for black women that happen to end up in these relationships. I'm not talking about these black women who read books on how to pursue this white man or, read books about how they can change themselves to be more appealing to white men. I'm not talking about those types of black women. I don't have any respect for those kind of black women. I'm talking about black women who just happen to be in these interracial relationships. Now, the reason why I have more sympathy for those types of women is because of the situation that we are in as a community. We're in a situation where many black men are caught up into the criminal justice system. many black men, unfortunately, do not obtain the same level of success, when it comes to education or when it comes to finances as many black women in the community. And I see examples of this all the time. Like even when I went to college, I went to Howard University, a predominantly black college, a historically black college. And immediately, one of the things that one notices on black campuses is the disparity between the numbers of black men on campus compared to the number of black women on campus. Often, there are far more black women on campus than there are black men. And then I see this in a professional environment, like when I go to, for instance, bar association meetings or other professional activities, I will see that there are more black women than there are black men, meaning that black professional men, for instance, have more options when it comes to dating than professional black women do. So for that reason, I can understand why a black woman would say that she needs to open up her options. While I don't agree with it, why it's not something that I embrace, I understand that perspective. And I do think even in situations where the numbers are imbalanced, I think that there are opportunities for black women to meet many good black men. One way is to go beyond just dating people that are on the same educational level that you're on or on the same financial level you're on. There are plenty of blue-collar black men that are not professionals, that do not have the college degree, but who earn a decent living. And I think that those kind of brothers deserve an opportunity to meet educated sisters. And I think that a lot of times when these women talk about people being closed-minded, often they are the ones being closed-minded by refusing to even consider a man that doesn't have a certain level of education or doesn't have a certain profession. A man can be a working class man and still have great values, still be a provider, still be a protector, and still be somebody that is worthy of marriage. So I think that that's part of the issue. I think that that is something that needs to be considered, but I understand why some women view their options as being limited. And for that reason, I look upon, black women with more sympathy who engage in these types of situations than I do look upon black men in that way. Because often the man is the pursuer in these relationships. A man is the one that's, out here making the first move when it comes to dating and stuff like that. And the man has choices. As a black man, you have a lot of options. And the fact that you have a larger percentage of black men who are in these interracial relationships compared to black women, that also is another reason why I have more sympathy towards black women who happen to be in these interracial relationships. Too often, successful black men who have an education, who have a certain level of fame or fortune, too often they choose to be with non-black women, thereby making it even more difficult for black women to find suitable mates. And then also when you look into like the player mentality that exists in our community, unfortunately, where a man is viewed as basically the man if he has multiple women, at the same time. We live in a culture that celebrates, promiscuity when it comes to a black man, that celebrates the player mentality instead of celebrating, actual manhood in the sense of being somebody that's committed in a relationship, being someone that's dedicated to marriage. And I think that these factors all play into the fact or contribute to the problem where many black women do not have the same level of options as black men. So for that reason, I'm more sympathetic to black women. I have sympathy, though I disagree with their position. I have sympathy towards black women that want to quote unquote open their options, as opposed to, the black woman is bashing the black man and stuff like that. I don't have much sympathy or much respect for those types of women. So I just wanted to share my thoughts about this, man. Tell me what y'all think. I like Chilli. After all these years, she's still beautiful. She looks like she hasn't aged at all. I saw her perform at Artscape in Baltimore a few weeks ago, and they were great. But yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know my thoughts about this, man. I'm not going to hate on the sister. I'm not going to call her a bed wench or anything like that, because I don't think that this situation falls into the same category of being a bed wench for the reasons that I stated before. So tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.